Okay students, so far we've talked about the unit title and the lesson objectives. Then, are you guys ready to begin today's class? Awesome. So let me give you this worksheet. Take one and pass them to the back. Take one and pass them to the back. Hyunwoo, at the back. Did you get the worksheet? Perfect. So what do you see on the first worksheet? Yes, there is a reading text, right? So can you read the title out loud? Perfect. So the title is Designing Inclusive Environments. Right? So let's begin today's class with the keyword inclusive. Okay? So, keyword inclusive. So which words can you come up with when you think of the word inclusive? Any ideas? Yes, Hyewon? Yes, together is a good word. So, together. And what else? Yes, Hoyoung? Yes, everyone is a good word as well. So, everyone. Everyone. And what else? Yes, Jihan? Oh, yes, you can think of the word community. So, community. Community is a good word for inclusive. So, like this, with the keyword from the title, can you guess today's topic? Yes, Tawon? Oh, did everyone hear what Tawon just said? He said today's topic will be living together. That's a great guess, Tawon. So, today, we are going to learn about living together. Okay? Awesome. So everyone, we just guessed today's topic from the title. Then, are you guys ready to talk more about living together? Perfect. So it's time for talk. So talk. So everyone, let's go back to the first worksheet. What else can you see? Yes, Hyunjung? Yes, you can see the picture, right? That is the picture of the universal design. So from now on, we are going to talk about it, okay? So we are going to talk about universal design, its characteristics. Okay, so we are going to do this with your partners. So Suyeon, Hyunsu, you two, and lastly, you two. Does everyone have their own partners? Perfect. So with your partners, we are going to talk about the characteristics of universal design, what it is or why we need it, okay? However, in this talk activity, it is very important to remember what? Yes, Jihan? Yes, all ideas are welcome. So keep in mind that there is no right answer. Just feel free to talk. Alright, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Talk with your partners. Go. 1 minute left, students. Okay, time's up. So let's share your ideas together. So what are the characteristics of universal design? Any ideas? Yes, Hoyoung and Youngho? Yes, it is designed for everyone. That's a great idea. So the first characteristic is for everyone. That's a great answer. And what else? Yes, Jae and Uje? Oh yes, inclusive is another characteristic. So the second one is inclusive. Universal design is inclusive design. Perfect. So class, we just finished talking about the universal design. Then are you guys ready to learn more about the universal design? Awesome. So it's time for reading. So let's read. However, before we actually read the text, what do we have to learn first? Yes, Jihan? Yes, we need to learn some difficult words, right? So everyone, let's quickly look at the words in the first worksheet and find some difficult words. Are there any difficult words? Just say the word out loud. Okay, so I can hear the word flexibility from many of you guys. So today's word is flexibility. So everyone, I just brought a real object. What can you see? Yes, Minsu? Yes, this is just a normal rope. Then I will give it to you. So Minsu, can you stretch the rope to each side? No, you can't, right? That's because it doesn't have flexibility. However, everyone, what's in my hand? Yes, Hyunsu? Yes, this is the rubber band, right? So Minsu, why don't you try this one? Can you stretch the rubber band to each side? Yes, you can, right? That means you just felt the flexibility from the rubber band. Then, with these two different experiences, can you guess the meaning of the word flexibility? Yes, Nahyun? Oh, did everyone hear what Nahyun just said? She said, flexibility means change the form easily. That's a great guessing, Nahyun. So, the flexibility means change the form easily. Then class, can you guys make a sentence with the word flexibility? Yes, Tawon. Oh, your glasses have good flexibility, so they don't break easily. That's a perfect sentence. So far, we just learned this difficult word. Then, are you guys ready to read the text? Perfect. Then everyone, whenever we read the text, what do we have to find first? Yes, Suhyun? Yes, we need to find the main idea first, right? So, we are going to find the main idea. However, to find the main idea, do we have to read quickly or slowly? Yes, Uje? Yes, we need to read quickly. So you don't have to understand every single word. Just read quickly and find the main idea. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Find the main idea, go. 1 minute left, students. Okay, time's up. So let's check the main idea together. So what was the main idea? Any volunteers? Yes, Hyunjung. Oh, designing environments usable by everyone. That's perfect. So the main idea is designing environments. What? Yes, Hyewon. Yes, usable by everyone. That's a great main idea, Hyunjung. So we just read the text to find the main idea. However, while you're reading, is there anyone who could find an expression that is used repeatedly? Yes, Hyewon. Oh, did everyone hear what Hyewon just said? She said the expression by and of ing is used repeatedly. So from now on, we are going to talk about this. By and of ing. So everyone, let's go back to the reading text again and underline these key expressions. So Sangmin, did you find all of them? So how many were there? Yes, there are 3 of them. Then let's talk about this. So class, we already learned when to use by. Do you guys remember? Yes, Sumin? Yes, we use by when we want to talk about how. Right? And how about of? When do we use of? Yes, Yongho? Yes, we learned that we use of when we want to say something about what. Right? Then everyone, let's look at the screen. Jill at the back, can you see the screen? Perfect. So what do you see on the screen? Yes, there are 3 questions, right? So can you read the first one? Yes, it says lower floor buses provide easy access by how? Then can you guys answer to this question? Yes, Hoyoung? Yes, by ensuring mobilities for all groups. That's a great answer. So we just answer for the number 1. And finally, the last one. Can you read the last question, Suhyun? Yes, it says captioned videos emphasize the importance of what? So can anyone answer to this question? Yes, Eunsu? Yes, of making content accessible to everyone, right? So, of making content accessible to everyone. That's a great answer, Eunsu. So like this, we just learned when to use by and of ing. Then, can you guys make a sentence with this key expression? Yes, Jiwan? Oh yes, I got great scores by studying hard. That's a great sentence. So for everyone, we just read the text for the main idea and we just learned today's key expression. Then, are you guys ready to read the text a little bit more closely? Perfect. So it's time to read for the details. Alright, so everyone, let's look at the second worksheet. What do you see? Yes, Hyunwoo? Yes, there's a graphic organizer, right? So let's see how it is organized. So what can you see in the first part? Yes, it says there's a definition. And below the definition, what can you see? Yes, Hyunjung? Yes, there are 2 features, right? And for each feature, what else can you see? Yes, Jongmin? Yes, there are 2 examples, right? So, your graphic organizer looks like this. So from now on, we are going to read the text again to find the answers to this graphic organizer. However, to find these specific answers, do we have to read everything or can we just read the necessary part? Yes, Minjae? Yes, we don't need to read everything. Right? So I'm going to give you 10 minutes, read the text again to find the answer to this graphic organizer. Alright, 10 minutes, go. Oh, Sumin, you already finished? Wow, what a quick reader. Then why don't you help your friend Minsu? I heard Minsu needs some help. Can you guys do that? Awesome. So like this, friends can be a better teacher. 1 minute left, students. Does anyone need more time? Okay, time's up. So let's check the answers all together. So what is the definition of the universal design? Any volunteers? Yes, Young-ho? Oh yes, usable by all people. That's a great definition. So, usable by all people. And the next part, the features. What's the first one? Any volunteers? Yes, Jae-woo? Yes, it was equality. So the first one was equality. Equality. And what's the second one? Yes, Nayoung? Yes, it says flexibility, right? So the second one was flexibility. Then what was the first example for the equality? Yes, Hyunjung? Yes, it was automatic sliding door, right? And the last one was the second one for the flexibility. Yes, Unu? Yes, it was caption videos, right? So like this, we just found the details with the graphic organizer. So far, we just read about the universal design. Then, how about our school? Don't you want to talk about it? Awesome. So, let's discuss. It's time for the discussion. So everyone, we are going to do this in groups. So Suyeon, Hyunsu, Minjong, Jongmin, U4, U4, and finally the last group, group 6, U4. So is everyone in group? Perfect. So everyone, in the group discussion, what is the rule number 1? Yes, Hyewon? Yes, the earth rule, right? So don't forget about the earth rule. So let me quickly remind you of this rule. So what was A? Yes, Minjong? Yes, it was active participation. And what was R? Yes, Young-ho? Yes, it is respect others. And what was T? Yes, Hyunsu? Yes, T was take turns. So keep in mind that this is our rule number 1 in the discussion. Alright? Then everyone, let's look at the third worksheet. What do you see? Yes, Minjae? Yes, it is group discussion worksheet, right? So from now on, I'm going to give you 15 minutes to discuss with your group members to complete this third worksheet. Alright? However, because this is just a discussion, it is important to write in what? Yes, Soo-hyun? Yes, it is important to be simple with keywords. That means you don't have to write in what? Yes, Young-ho? Yes, you don't have to write in full sentences because discussion should come first. Alright, so you can write in keywords and just be simple. Okay, and remember that you can also use your tablet PCs to find information for the discussion. So you can use your tablet PCs. So I'm going to give you 15 minutes, discuss with your group members, complete the third worksheet. Go. Oh, Jongmin, I can see you're actively participating, but what was the T rule? Yes, take turns. So make sure that everyone has chance to talk. Alright? And group 4, do you need any help? Oh, you couldn't find any problems for the suggestion. Then why don't you look at this school newspaper I just brought for you guys? So with this school newspaper, can you do this group work by yourselves? Awesome. So if you need any more help, just feel free to call me. Alright? And group 5, you already finished? Wow, what a brilliant student. Then why don't you write more suggestions? Because the more suggestions you give, the better our school will be. Can you guys do that? Awesome. Keep up the good work. 1 minute left, students. Does any group need more time? Okay, time's up. So we just finished the group discussion about our school's universal design. Then, are you guys ready to write your own suggestion? Awesome. So, it's time to write our suggestion. So everyone, let's look at the screen here. Minsu at the back, do you see the screen? Awesome. So what do you see on the screen? Yes, there is a sample writing, right? So like this, there are several things you should remember. So remember these things when you write your suggestion. Okay? So what can you find in the sample writing? Any ideas? Yes, Hyunjung? Oh yes. In the sample writing, there's problem, solution, and expectation, right? So like this, your writing should have problem, solution, and what was the last one? Yes, 현재? Yes, expectation. Okay. so that your writing can be logical. And what else can you find? Yes, Soo-hyun? Yes. The sample writing has very creative solution, right? So like this, your solution should be creative. Okay? Creative solution. And what else can you find? Yes, Chong'un? Oh yes, it is written in full sentences. So remember that based on the simple keywords from the third worksheet, you should write correct and full sentences this time. Okay? And lastly, how many members in your group? Yes, there are 4 students, right? So keep in mind that one student should write at least 1 or more sentences so that everyone has a role in the group. So remember these things when you write your group's suggestion. However, before we start, let me tell you this. The best group's writing will be actually sent to the principal's office to make our school a better place. How does it sound? Are you guys excited? Awesome. So I'm going to give you 20 minutes to do what, Hyewon? Yes, to write your group suggestion. Alright? 20 minutes, go. Oh, group 1, do you need any help? Oh, you don't know how to start. Then why don't you go back to the third worksheet? Because that's a build-up activity for this one. Can you guys do that? Awesome. So if you need any more help, just don't hesitate to raise your hand. Alright? Perfect. I love your effort. And group 6, you already finished? Wow, what a quick writers. Then why don't you write another group suggestion? Because you already know that the possibilities of universal design is endless. Can you guys do it? Awesome. So keep up the good work. 1 minute left, students. Does any group need more time? Okay, time's up. Alright, so we just finished writing our group suggestion. Then, don't you want to see your friend's suggestion? Awesome. So it's time for check. So let's check. So let me give you this peer assessment card. So take one and pass them to the back. Sangmin, at the back. Did you get the peer assessment card? Perfect. So what do you see in the first one? Yes, it says the organization, right? So the first one is the organization of the writing. So what does this mean? Yes, Hyunsu? Yes, as you can see in the fourth worksheet as well, this means if the writing is logical. So make sure that your friend's writing has this problem, solution, and expectation. And what is the second one? Yes, Sangwoo? Yes, it says creativity, right? So the second one was creativity. And what does this mean? Yes, Jae-woo? Yes, this means if the writing has creative solution. Alright? And what's the last one? Yes, Hyunjung? Yes, it says language use, right? So the last one was language use. And what is language use? Yes, Woo-hyun? Yes, this means if the writing has correct and full sentences, as you can also see in the fourth worksheet. So with this peer evaluation card, we are going to do a gallery walk. How does it sound? Exciting? Awesome. So from now on, we are going to do the gallery walk. So group 1, put your writing on this wall. Group 2, over there. And finally, last group, group 6, put your writings over here. So students, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to walk around the classroom, read your friend's writing, and give your peer assessment card. Alright, so everyone stand up, walk around the classroom, go. 1 minute left, students. Okay, time's up. Please go back to your seats. Okay, so we just finished the gallery walk. However, when I was walking around the classroom together, I could find that all of the writings were very logical with a creative solution, and not only that, you all successfully used the correct and full sentences in your group suggestion. So I want to give this big smile on this one. I'm so proud of you guys. You deserve a big hand. Let's give ourselves a big hand. Awesome. So before we wrap up, let's quickly go over today's class. So what was today's topic? Yes, Nayoung. Yes, it was inclusive. So we read about what? Yes, Hoyoung. Yes, we read about the universal design. And we did what? Yes, Sooyoung. Yes, we did discussion. And we wrote about what? Yes, we wrote our own suggestions. So with today's class, I want you to become a person who can take care of your own communities to live together. Can you guys do that? Awesome. So that's all for today and have a great weekend.